Hello lovelies, welcome back to another video of the world of Gem. I am Pretty Gem, and in today's video I am going to be sharing the worst trip I have ever had. And by trip I mean psychedelics. I will be talking about psychedelics today, specifically shrooms. And I do want to say before this video starts, this video is meant for informational purposes only and sharing my experience. I am in no way saying you guys should go and try psychedelics. I am simply sharing my story because it is important to know how powerful these drugs are. So yeah, I will be sharing the worst trip I have ever had and why I don't take psychedelics anymore while eating some seafood. So let's get this video started. This is the world of Gem.
Best friend, Pretty Gem, what you tell 'em who I am? Welcome back, here I've been, welcome back to your reign. It's the world of Gem.
I'm not gonna use a fork because I am Mexican, guys, so I'm just gonna start scooping things out of the bag. I'm more excited for this video than you guys are because I get to eat. Y'all just watching. So, I mean, let me feast on this. Alright guys, so let's begin by, I decided to take some shrooms, that I wanted to take some shrooms. I was going through a breakup, a pretty bad breakup, and I wanted to do something to kind of forget about it, I should say, or I don't know why I decided psychedelics. I hit somebody up for an eighth. Now this was the second time I have ever taken anything or like shrooms specifically. So he gives me an eighth and I was like, how much do you think I should take? And he's like, take the whole thing, bro. Like, trust me, the more the better. Like, you're gonna have a great ass trip, right? And I was like, cool. Like, I'm gonna go and plan a pretty hike. I planned a pretty hike by Seattle and have in mind that I was by myself. So I pull up and the first thing I noticed, there's a lot of families there. A lot of families, y'all. Like, it was busy as hell that day. I got a little sketched out at first and I was like, maybe I shouldn't take them here. Like, you know, I don't know how it's going to be and there's like so many people, but I was already there. I had already like made the drive, so I was like, okay, like I'm just gonna take them. So I got my water, got my snacks in my bag, and I decided to eat the whole freaking bag. So I'm kicking it by the river and I'm halfway through the bag and I'm like, damn, it's kind of like a lot. I don't know. And they didn't taste great, so I was eating them with grapes. I would like eat one and then eat a grape. But anyways, I finished the bag and I'm like, all right, like let's go, I'm ready. And I start my little hike. And they hit me so fast, yo. Like way too fast. I was maybe like not even 30 minutes in that I remember. When I started, like, everything just started like looking kind of just wave, like a wave of existence around me. Like I just blended in with the trees and shit. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, they're starting to kick in. And I kept on getting distracted by everything. I couldn't take 2 steps or 3 steps without getting distracted of like, I mean, by like a tree on the side or like a freaking flower or even rocks on the ground, y'all. Like, it was the littlest things. I kept on tripping out and like wanted to touch everything and I wanted to be like on the floor. And have in mind, there was so many people there, so many families. People kept on walking by me and I just kept on looking down because I didn't want them to notice that I was tripping balls. I go down to the river and I start skipping on rocks. And there were so many rocks, like the river was not deep at all. It was more like a little stream. I start skipping rocks and just laughing, like I was having the time of my freaking life. Just laughing and hopping around, and I kept on getting off the rocks and grabbing the water and splashing it up in the air, and I was like, oh my god, life is so beautiful. And then I stop and I turn around and there's this family just staring at me, bro. It was a mom, a dad, and they had a child with them. And they were just straight up just staring at me. And in that moment, like, I got like the worst fucking thoughts in my head. Like, oh my God, they must think I'm fucking crazy. Like, what? You see, like, they don't know what the fuck I'm on. Like, to them, I'm just like hopping around the river and skipping. Oh my God, guys. I got so much anxiety that I was like, holy shit, how much have they been watching? Like, how much have they watched? I was doing some weird shit, y'all. Like, I didn't care. Like, I don't care in general. And then I was on shrooms. That's like me not caring times 1,000, y'all. Like, I did not like look to see who was watching or looking at me. I didn't like look to be careful of like not doing anything weird. So I was just being me, you know, tripping balls. And as soon as I had that thought, I got like this weird, just completely different vibe, guys. And I started going down like this fucking hole, thinking like, what if I'm going crazy, you know? And having that thought while you're tripping on shrooms is not what you want to experience at all. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, and then I started getting all these paranoid thoughts like, oh my God, like, what are they gonna think of me? Maybe I should stop. So I got off the rocks, I started walking. I was like, maybe I should get back on the trail. And I was like, wait a second, where is the trail? I was like, fuck, I don't know where the trail is. I had drank all my water and I felt like time had passed. Like, I felt like I had been out there for like an hour, and I looked at the time. It had been like 10 minutes, y'all, since I was like just bouncing around in that same spot in the river. It had been like 10 minutes and I had drank all my water in those 10 minutes. And I was like, holy shit, like I've lost perception of time. I was just like, all this paranoia. I had to ask this family for help. I was like, I'm sorry. I walked up to them because I didn't want them to think like this girl's gonna like come up to us and fucking do something to us. I don't know. I walked up to them and I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I took a lot of shrooms and I'm tripping really bad. I was like, can you please show me the way to the trail because I'm lost. Like, I don't know how to get back. And the girl looked at me like, and bro just didn't even say anything. She just pointed, dude, and she just looked so scared. And I was like, fuck. I was like, I feel terrible. And they have a child with them. Like, what must they be thinking? And I go to try to find the trail where she pointed, and I literally can't. Like, everything looks the same to me, and I'm having all these paranoid thoughts that I literally just want everything to stop. I want the trip to stop. I want to be sober. But obviously, I'm like, I just took these. Like, these hit me so fast. I've got like 6 hours of this shit. And then just having that thought that it wasn't going to stop there just made me even more fucking paranoid and scared. I was like, fuck. And I'm already here. Like, once you have gone down that fucking rabbit hole, I feel like when you're on psychedelics, it's fucking hard to come back because the trip just starts downhill. I was like, I'm sorry. I don't know where the trail is. Can you please just take me? And she walks me up to the trail and just leaves me there. And I start walking back to the car. I was like, fuck this. I can't be out here right now. And I was like, all right, I can listen to music. I was like, let's try to like just have a good time. I played music. Not even the music sounded good. Like, I was just so far in my head about so many things. And I was like going through a breakup. So I started thinking about my ex. And once I started thinking about my ex, I got super emotional. And I just started bawling. Like bawling, crying, like just... And I was being loud too. I was like crying, but with like noises like... Ah! It was just fucking, oh my God. I was in the car. And I was just like, what the fuck? And then I was thinking to myself, like, what if somebody's watching me do this right now and cry right here hysterically? I was so paranoid because of the people staring, and there were so many people there that I was like, I'm like out of it right now, and these people must be like fucking, they don't understand, you know? I'm fucking tripping. Like, all I want to do is be sober right now, but I can't. So I just sat there. I called my mom. I think that's what like gave me a little more peace. I'm not gonna lie. And that moment when I was in the car and trying to like, you know, keep myself calm so I wouldn't like lose my shit completely, I thought about calling my mom, and she didn't know like that I was on shrooms. I just called her and I was like, hey, like what are you doing? The hike is good. But I'm kind of tired and kind of looking forward to being home. Sorry about that, my lovelies. So one of our lights actually died. Here we are. Unfortunately, I already finished eating, so you guys don't get to see me eat anymore, but I don't think you guys want to watch that anyways. I was just hungry. And then I called my mom, and she, her words just, I felt a connection. I felt, you know, I felt loved. I felt like, oh, I'm not alone here. Like, this is just a trip. I had to just tell myself that I was tripping, that it was a trip and it was gonna be over eventually. Like, I wasn't going to, you know, be in this state of mind for a long time, but I had already like gone down a pretty dark fucking path there, so there was no way to bring me back out of it. So the only thing that every time I tried to have better thoughts and kind of like guide myself towards a different trip, I'd sink deeper into the fucking bad trip. So I was like, all right, that's not working, let me just chill out. And I literally just sat in the car, I played some music, and I just rode that bitch out. I was there for 5 hours. Yep, I was there for 5 hours until the shrooms wore off, and I had to still drive back to my town. So that was like 3.5 hours, 4 hours away from where I live. So I waited till the shrooms wore off, and I felt completely exhausted by the end of that trip. I learned so much from this single trip, and I had severe PTSD afterwards. And that's not just me trying to be exaggerated, but I had severe anxiety when I came back home, and I felt like disconnected from reality for a while, where I was still like in that shock and like of the intense emotions that I experienced while tripping, and it felt so real at that time. And it kind of like carried on a couple months after the trip, and then I was open about it to my mom, and I told her, and she kind of helped me and started talking to me. She told me that I could look up videos and I could go to counseling to deal with like the anxiety. And then it was kind of like this trauma response, you know, like I'm sure a lot of people have experienced trauma in their life. Well, that trip to me, it left me with severe trauma after effects, and like they were terrible. Like I remember just being at work and I would get like these anxious, paranoid thoughts and have that rush of anxiety again and think like something was extremely wrong. And like I couldn't breathe sometimes of how like intense my anxiety would be. Like it was bad. I learned from this experience is, for one, don't underestimate psychedelics. Guys, psychedelics are not like any other recreational drug. They are very intense, and they can cause some very fucking severe trauma effects afterwards if you experience a bad experience with them like I did, or what I like to call a bad trip. It was a bad trip. What I learned from this trip is that I actually need people. I need everyone around me. We need people. Like when I was tripping and I was there by myself, I didn't connect with anyone. I didn't know anybody. All I wanted was for these people to know what I was experiencing inside and for them to try to help me, but I didn't voice that out. I mean, I did get help from that one lady that led me back to the trail, which I was grateful for. But after that experience, I looked at the world so different. I grounded myself in reality in a whole different way. I'm grateful for the people that surround me, the people that I can be open with, and it just taught me a lot. Be mindful of the things you do, be mindful of what you put into your body, and do not ever take psychedelics lightly. this is a huge lesson that I learned through a lot of trial and errors, because I used to do a lot and take a lot of, I wouldn't say drugs, but they are psychedelics. I feel like psychedelics are very powerful. They are considered a drug, but they're very powerful drugs, and do not take them lightly, period. End of story. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys for coming back to my videos. I am so excited to continue to share stories with you guys and just get creative with everything that we've been doing. So thank you guys for being part of my journey. I love you guys, and let's keep creating this channel together and building it together. Blessings, my lovelies. I will see you guys in the next video.